Hello again, and thank you for logging on to winecask.com. This is September 2010, and I'm delighted to produce our lineup for September at Alma Rosa, joined by the talented and wonderful Richard Sanford. Richard, thanks so much for having us here.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Alma Rosa.
Thank you. I'm feeling it. It's a beautiful spot. If you haven't had a chance to tour out into the Santa Rita Hills, you must do so, and you have to stop at Alma Rosa. And I understand from speaking with Richard that this is your 40th anniversary from having planted your first vineyard in Santa Rita
Can you
Hills.
believe that, Mitchell? I've been here for 40 years,
Wow.
growing grapes and making wine.
Wow.
I actually chose the area because of its unique, cool climate,
Right.
particularly for Pinot Noir.
It's worked out really
And
well.
it's hard to believe it's 40 years ago.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about Alma Rosa and then the wines we're going to have.
Well, Alma Rosa is the outcome of a winery that Tekla, my wife, and I started about 5 years ago. And recognizing the purity of quality of grapes from this region and wanting to really bottle that beautiful bright acid in the wines, all these new wines are a lineup of what's reflective of the Santa Rita Hills. A Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay, a Pinot Noir Vin Gris, and a Pinot Noir. These are all Burgundy style wines.
Fantastic.
And in fact, this wine, the Pinot Noir Vin Gris, was just bottled last week.
Are we the first to try it in here
This
then?
is a premiere tasting of this wine.
I didn't realize it was going to be this special. This is great.
This will be one of the special wines on your tasting lineup
Right.
this next week.
Wow, this really is fantastic. I can understand how 40 years ago you came to this area and thought, wow, this is really special, really beautiful. But what beyond the climate made you think the Sanford and Benedict Vineyard location was the place?
Well, you know, I had done a lot of research, Mitchell. I went back in the climate records for 100 years, measuring the climates in Burgundy and comparing those climates with climates in California. And something remarkable came out to me in my research. It was this transverse mountain range of California. Here, the mountain range runs east and west, and the valley's open to the west to the ocean. The winds coming off the ocean moderate the growing climate, so it's quite cool. And my prejudice those days was that Pinot Noir was growing in climates that were too warm. So here was this beautiful climate for Pinot Noir. And I think when I started driving up and down the valley with a thermometer in my car, people thought I'd gone completely crazy.
You were a geology major, weren't you?
Actually, geology and I studied geography and I graduated in geography.
Wow.
So that was the perfect thing to study, to try and find the right place for Pinot Noir.
I remember hearing this, it's all coming back to me now, about 20 years ago at the first Vintners Association server seminar, if you remember that. And that was where I first heard Transverse Mountains from you. It's all
20
coming
years
back.
ago.
Well, it really is a beautiful place, and I think many others have followed your pioneering ways to prove that Pinot Noir is really spectacular in this area.
Well,
so.
thank you, Mitchell. And you know, something very important for us, for Tekla and myself, is the fact that Alma Rosa Winery is dedicated to always sustainable. So all of our estate vineyards are organically farmed and certified CCOF.
That's great.
That's really important.
And I'm
to
glad
us.
you brought that up because that's important to our diners as well. They love to know
We
that.
really should know where our foods come from.
Absolutely true.
Salud and
Well,
welcome.
salud and happy 40th.
Look at the color of
Isn't
this
it beautiful?
wine.
Just gorgeous.
It has
Well,
a very strawberry-like
It does.
aroma.
You get strawberry, and of course the color tells you that as well. But it's a beautiful aromatic, real fruit character. Can't wait to taste it. You'll have the chance to meet Richard as well as taste through all the Alma Rosa wines at the Wine Cask tasting room on Thursday, September 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. So we'll be delighted to have the company of Richard and his lovely wife and able partner Tekla. And we'll have some flatbreads, sample some wines, and you'll have a chance to meet Richard. So thanks very much for this
You're
taste.
welcome.
Cheers
Salud. We're
again.
looking forward to September.